Yeah, so when I came to Ensign College, I had the distinct impression that there were things that the Lord wanted this institution to do that we had not yet done. There is, I'm going to call it a crisis in higher education right now. It's a gap crisis. It's more than a gap. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Engaged by Design podcast, where we help you engage more learners more effectively. I'm Dr. Vernon Smith, joined with Dr. Michael Cottom, and this special place called Studio E at Ensign College in Salt Lake City, Utah, with our special guest, Dr. Bruce Kusch, president of Ensign College.
Thanks, Vernon. Great to be here.
This is a wonderful place. Talk a little bit about this studio, because as we came in here, there were only students running this thing.
Yeah, so Studio E is a student-run broadcast studio. We record all of our podcasts here. The students, they write the script, they do the videography, they do the editing, they do all the sound, they do the lighting. Interior design students developed the set, and it's all student-run. And you know, when we record, the best part is students get to tell the president what to do,
which is probably not hard to do.
No, it's not, and I'm just so proud of them for the work that they do, the quality of the work that they do, and it really epitomizes what we try to do at Ensign College, which is give students real-world skills that help them get employed and make them very employable in an applied educational setting, and this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, this really is it.
This is the incarnation of that. Talk a little bit more about the college and your students.
So we have students that come to our campus in Salt Lake City from 75 countries around the world. About 45% of our students are international. The rest come from all over the United States. We have this year on our campus, we'll serve a little over 3,000 students in terms of unduplicated headcount. We'll serve another 25,000 online through our relationship with BYU Pathway. But our focus is applied education within the church educational system. We're known as the applied curriculum provider. Our mission is to develop capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ. And we think we best do that by putting students in real-world situations where they develop skills that are in demand. They're employer-informed, they're industry-aligned, and it's just a really, really special place.
It is, and that's Ensign College today, but let's also take a little journey backwards. I'm going to bring up something that you said, Pathway. So I was at Rio Salado College in the Maricopa system, and you were coming and with a group, I remember that, with Fenton Broadhead, and you reminded me of this last summer, that you were not only is this an Ensign story, this is also a BYU Pathway story, because you were doing work at that time already on BYU Pathway.
Yeah, so when I was at BYU Idaho in 2009, when Pathway began with 3 pilot sites, one in Nampa, Idaho, one in Mesa, Arizona, and one in New York City. I've seen Pathway, I've been involved with Pathway from its inception. Now, in those early days, I wasn't deeply involved because they were doing things in a very deliberate, disruptive way under the direction of Elder Clark Gilbert at the time.
Yeah.
But as time has passed, certainly here, my involvement with Pathway has deepened. Our involvement with Pathway has deepened. But there were a lot of things that we were still trying to learn. We came home from our mission in Mexico in 2015. I'd been home like 3 or 4 days, and Fenton said, "We're going to Arizona." And I thought, in July? I mean,
wrong time to go.
Who chooses to go there in July sometimes?
The air conditioning was going strong.
Yeah, but it was wonderful. And I remember going to Rio Salado and learning and just trying to figure out that model and how it would apply. And then it was in 2021 that Ensign College, we had our name change. We started offering bachelor's degrees, and our relationship really deepened with BYU Pathway. And now it's part of our institutional DNA. It's part of who we are.
So how are you connected with Pathways at this point?
So BYU Pathway offers a pre-matriculation curriculum that students take. It's over 3 blocks of the schedule. And then when a student finishes in that 3rd block, they can begin the first course of a certificate program, either through Ensign College or BYU Idaho. So the programs that Idaho offers and that Ensign offers are complementary. We don't offer the same
Not the
thing.
same.
So students choose whether they're going to take a BYU Idaho path or an Ensign College path based on the programs that we offer. And so we have a very, very close relationship with Pathway, as does BYU Idaho.
Right.
But it's kind of this 3 institutional consortium, I guess,
Yeah.
of sister schools that are serving thousands and thousands of students all over the world.
Yeah, do you have students all over the world at this point?
We have students in about 105 countries.
Yes.
In 2026, we'll serve about 25,000 online students, and that's forecast to double in the next several years. And I think
Wow.
that could be conservative based on Pathways growth.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I want to take us back about a decade because in March of 2016, you became the Chief Academic Officer.
Yes, I
of
did.
Ensign College. And let me hit some dates here, and then let's concentrate as we do this. Ensign College is where it is now, but there was a change process that happened under your leadership. And let's talk about that. So you became the president on April 17th, 2017. By February 25th, you had announced that LDS Business College was now going to become Ensign College. And September 1st, 2020, it becomes official. There's a rebranding and a renaming of the college. By April 2024, you're already introducing the 3-year baccalaureate degree launching with the online credits. By May 5th, 2015, Cinco de Mayo 2025, you have the academic calendar shifting to 7 weeks. And on October 15, 2025, you announce all campus bachelor's degrees are going to be approved. And then February 2nd, 2026, the all-in redesign is announced, and all baccalaureate BAS degrees available in the spring 2026, right now, during this semester, are all available. That is an amazing, this is like a transformative journey. On any of these highlights would be an incredible change project. When you first came to Ensign College, what did you see, and what are some of the needs that you maybe perceived at that time?
Yeah, so when I came to Ensign College, I had the distinct impression that there were things that the Lord wanted this institution to do that we had not yet done. And some of that, a lot of it, came from really prophetic statements from President Henry B. Eyring. At my predecessor's inauguration in 2009, just a month after Pathway began. So 2009 is when those 3 pilot sites of Pathway began. A month later, President Eyring is speaking at President Larry Richards' inauguration, my predecessor. And one of the things he said was that this institution would play a key role in taking distance learning to the church. And when I read that, even before I got here, that was riveting for me. President Eyring in 2001 spoke at BYU Idaho, and he gave an address called A Steady Upward Course, which has been a foundational document since then. And this address by President Eyring in 2009 at my predecessor's inauguration has been that for us. It's been a North Star for us, and it's guided a lot of our decisions. It's guided what we've tried to do, and we have felt that over these last several years we've been living in the midst of prophetic fulfillment, and I think because it was the right time, it enabled us to make changes at a really rapid pace.
Miraculous pace in some ways.
A really rapid pace.
Of looking at that. When you were here as president, did you see that as your biggest opportunity as you saw that moving to that?
Yeah, I mean, so,
strategy?
There were discussions and things that we had been looking at, and we had to make sure that the timing was right as we looked at we had some things we had to figure out. In 2018, one of the first major things that we did under my tenure was change our mission statement. And that was a game changer.
Talk about that.
So we had a mission statement that was it was beautiful, but it was lengthy. It was this beautiful paragraph that tried to capture all of the wonderful things that had been said by prophets, seers, and revelators for a very long time. But as we examined this, we felt that we needed to have a mission statement that was short, succinct, powerful, and memorable. And that's where developing disciples of Jesus Christ developing capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ evolved from that discussion. And from the very inception of that mission statement, it stuck. It stuck. And people remember it. Students know it. Our faculty, our staff know it. It gets mentioned in prayers. It gets mentioned in devotionals. It gets mentioned frequently. And even when we don't expect that students might be, repeating that mission statement, but it happens all the time.
So changing a mission statement is sometimes a really big deal for an institution.
Uh-huh.
How did you go about making the change? Who was involved?
Yeah, so we had a
process for it?
committee. We counseled together with our executive committee. We had a marketing director that we counseled with to make sure that the launch was done just right, because I didn't want to just send an email out and say, oh, by the way, we've changed our mission statement.
Yeah.
So it was a very intentional effort. We went through an approval process first with our board of trustees.
Right.
And I remember the day that it was presented in the board meeting, when it was approved, when I presented it, I got this little, air fist bump from President Eyring. So, it was like, okay, this is
that.
good.
I love that image in my mind.
Yeah,
Of him giving
yeah,
a fist bump.
and it was consistent with what all the other mission statements of the church educational system is, and what the mission statements of the other institutions are. So ours is a little different, but they all focus on developing disciples of Jesus Christ.
And speaking of the mission, when you change your mission, you have to go to your accreditors and put it there and do those things. But let's break it down a little bit. What, to you as president, what does capable and trusted disciples of Jesus Christ? Talk about the capable and talk about the trusted.
Yeah. So I think about this a lot. To be capable means you know things and you can do things. To be trusted is about who you are becoming and who you have become. It means that you have a moral compass. It means you're dependable. It means that you can be trusted. If we're developing capable and trusted disciples, it means that the Savior can trust you and you trust Him. I think it was David O. McKay that said it's more important to be trusted than loved. And so just think about the issues of character or lack thereof. And so we want young people here and any of our graduates that have a moral compass and that can be depended on. And so those were two words, capable and trusted, that we thought really described what we're trying to do. Capable because think about what you've seen here with these students that are recording and producing this podcast. They're demonstrating in real time how capable they are. And we see that with our students in lots of different settings. And so that, they know how to do things. They do things very, very well, to a very high standard. And we trust them. And we trust them to do this because we know how capable they are and we know how good they are.
Yeah. They never stop amazing when students are given that okay to be themselves and raise their talents. Now, what happened first, the mission statement change or the rebrand of the name? What came first?
The mission statement came first. It came in 2018, in early 2018, and the rebrand came in 2020.
And how did the mission statement change impact that rebrand?
Well, so it was really the first of, I would say, the transformational things that we were doing with the institution. And it really did begin to change how we saw ourselves and what we did, because everybody knew what the mission statement was. Before that, you would have had to, I don't know, where's the mission statement, and here it is, and it's this paragraph, it was beautiful.
Oh, of course.
It was beautiful, but nobody could remember it, and it didn't get talked about that much, and so we wanted something that got talked about every single day, and that was the standard by which we measured our work.
And it's the rebrand comes out, and what did you keep deliberately from the LDS Business College culture and things like that, and what did you sort of shape and move as you saw this need for the rebranding? So
from my office, I have a beautiful view of the Salt Lake Temple.
Nice.
And I see it every day. When the construction started, when the remodeling of the temple and everything that's gone on for the last 6 years, or now, I guess, moving into 7, I've watched it every single day. I watched the scaffolding go up. I've watched the scaffolding go down. I watched them take off the Angel Moroni. I watched them put the Angel Moroni back. I've seen all this. And, I drive by the site multiple times a week to go to meetings in the church office building. And for me, it's the temple is kind of a metaphor of what's happened at Ensign College. When that temple is dedicated sometime in 2027, I'm assuming, the purpose of that building will not have changed one single bit. The ordinances will be the same. Everything will be the same. It will look different on the inside, and it will look different on the outside. But the purpose of that building will not have changed one single bit. And that's kind of what's happened at Ensign College. Our purpose as an institution hasn't changed. We are the applied curriculum provider, and we prepare our graduates for jobs in powerful and spiritually nourishing ways. That's what we've always done. Now, we have a different name. We have some different offerings, but at the end of the day, nothing's changed about Ensign College in terms of the way that we look on these students and the hope that we have for them. In President Eyring's address, he said students come here who think they have limited opportunities and limited potential, and they find hope where they thought they could not hope, and they dream dreams that they thought were impossible. So that's profound. That's us.
Yeah,
that's us.
That is profound.
Just made me think of President Nelson touring the foundations.
Yes.
Of that temple.
Right.
How it needed to be rebuilt.
Yes.
For the coming shaking.
Yeah.
Right? For the hard times. Is that part of Ensign's vision? You have to be the new institution, really.
We had to be better with systems and policies and things like that, because I knew that if we did our part, the Lord had plenty of things for us to do. I honestly didn't know what it was. I mean, I knew that there were opportunities, but it was in 2020, late 2020, or actually early 2020, when the proposal was made to the First Presidency to change our name, to offer bachelor's degrees, and to really forge a relationship with Pathway that would expand the reach of Ensign College around the world.
So you have really created, if we look at the iron triangle of higher education, looking at cost, quality, and access, you pulled the corner of access tremendously worldwide.
Yeah.
The cost is still very reasonable, and the quality is also there because of the nature of the curriculum and the mission that's there. Yeah. What does Ensign do differently? Because it's looking at the market and employment and things like that. during that transformation, what did you make sure happened in that ability to really respond to the market and make your students capable?
Yeah. So one of the things, and perhaps one of the most impactful things that we do, is that we have program advisory boards for every one of our programs. And so we invite professionals to come, and we meet with them once or twice a year. We review our curriculum with them, and we say, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're planning, this is our curriculum. Are we on? Are we off? What should we improve? What should we change? Will this meet your needs? And so that's really vital. The other thing that we do when we're designing a course is that we identify a subject matter expert that is a professional doing the work. And the question that we ask is, what do you do every day and what do you produce? What are the requirements of your job? And then we design a course around what people that are really doing that job do. The other thing that's really fundamental for us is that we have a practitioner faculty, primarily. About 75% of our total student credit hours are delivered by a practitioner faculty. In fact, just last night we had an event to honor them, but they bring relevant experience. They bring real world, real time experience into the classroom, and so they're training our students based on what they're doing on the job. And these are some people that are really capable and really talented, and that are in high-level jobs that want to give back. And so the pedigrees of our faculty are really based on the work that they're doing in industry, and they bring that to the classroom. And so I think it's a combination of those things that allows us to really create a curriculum that's powerful with instruction that's powerful. So as an example of also the quality of our full-time faculty, so in our accounting department and finance department, we have a former Johnson & Johnson CFO.
Wow.
We have a former CFO of Sam's Club and Walmart. I think that's pretty good.
I think those are some good credentials.
Scale.
Know what they're talking
and
about.
we have others that that have done some wonderful things in their fields before they came. Another faculty member that ran restaurants for major restaurant chains all over the world. It's a pretty good experience.
That's
if you ask
good
me,
experience.
And so just some very, very, very talented people that come here and give.
So as a student or a future student, so we get to talk about also, one of the things that you can be assured of is that your curriculum is going to be real world, it's relevant,
Yes.
and it's top tier.
Yes.
And so that goes with the Ensign, that it's assurance for that student.
Yeah.
Not only are we going to teach you to be trusted, but you can trust us because we're helping you and getting you there.
Yeah, there is, I'm going to call it a crisis in higher education right now. It's a gap crisis. It's more than a gap. It's more than a chasm. It's like the Grand Canyon of disconnect between, in many cases, between higher education and employers.
Yes.
And employers saying, you don't have to do many searches before you find study after study after study that says employers are finding that graduates aren't prepared with the skills that they want them to have, and this gap. And we can't solve it for everybody, but we can solve it for our students. Absolutely. And we take that very seriously we've integrated career services with academics. So that's integrated into all of the coursework. We did that probably about 4 years ago. That was another thing that we did. And I think it was an inspired move for us.
Very forward-thinking.
It's good for us, good for our students. And so we are confident that when we send an Ensign College student out into the world, they're going to be ready to go to work because of the experiences that they will have had in their classes.
So given your students all over the world at this point, Are those services, how do the services extend to them where they are all over the world?
Yeah, so that's part of what our partnership with Pathway, is doing. But the curriculum, when we design a course, the curriculum is pretty much the same, whether it's going to be delivered online to a Pathway student or whether it's going to be taught face-to-face here in Salt Lake City.
It's amazing. Now, in this transformational journey, are there some lessons that Bruce, as an individual, President Kusch here, but Bruce learned along this way that have been things that you've really reflected on and that have helped you in your current position?
Yeah, so one of the things that we started doing probably about in 2020, maybe a little sooner than that, was we realized the importance of hiring for mission fit. That made all the difference in the world in our ability to transform this institution. I've said I don't want a group of people that all think alike, but I do want us to be like-minded. And that means a commitment to our mission and a deep commitment to students and no personal agendas. If you have to deal with personal agendas in an organization, you spend your time dealing with personal agendas and you don't make progress to serve students, which is the reason we exist, right? And so that was one really important lesson that I learned. I certainly learned a great lesson about the importance of alignment with living prophets and timing. And timing is really important. And when you're in alignment with prophets, alignment with the Lord's will, and you do it at the right time, then great things happen. And if you don't, you're going to be trying to push a really big rock uphill with no help.
With sort of weak arms.
That's right.
They'll be doing this. Speaking of this, Ensign, of course, itself, one of the meanings is it's a standard. It is the place where you can look to. If you're in a battle, you look to the standard, to where to go, where to organize, and things like that. But right now, Ensign College, I would say, is at the forefront of higher education in the United States. And I'm saying that as a
That's kind.
I'm saying that as a higher education, background of things.
Yeah.
Just now, here's a statement. We'll talk about a little bit more with this about going to the 3-year degree, but in Inside Higher Education and a Hanover research study that came out just this week said some 37% of all university presidents and 18% of community college leaders expressed the interest in adding a 3-year bachelor's degree. And you did it, when I was part of a consortium, right? So this is back in, I'm looking here, 2021. It was called the College in 3 Project. And let me read some of the folks that were out there, that were in the field right here. So if we're lining up at the starting line, here's the folks that are there. I was at American Public University System. I was the provost. Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Merrimack College, New England College, Northwood University, Portland State University, Slippery Rock University, the University of Minnesota at Rochester, the University of North Texas, the University of Texas at Rio Grande, and the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh and Utica College. These were all, I was part of this consortium, and we were working on getting a 3-year degree and a bachelor's degree there. I was working particularly on a 3-year cybersecurity degree. And to get that, it was going to be 90 to 96 credits, depending, but it had the key knowledge units that were based on the National Security Agency. So you really didn't need these other things. However, we're working on this, we're getting this, and before all of that happens, guess who jumps out there?
Yeah.
Ensign College.
Yeah, and BYU Idaho.
Yes, at the same time.
Right.
And it was just a remarkable thing. I mean, it was, it made the news, and these are, decent places, and we were working on it. What were those barriers that you overcame in this? Because I'm sure there were a lot, but it is amazing. You were the first.
so we started with online, right? With degrees, online degrees. And so our relationship and our involvement with Pathway is a little different than BYU Idaho's. But we were both on the online side with getting these degrees moving forward. Everybody was in line about these online degrees. I'm not trying to be clever here, but everybody was on the same page.
The gold rush, right? Yeah.
Because we saw the blessing that it would be for these students. And we also realized that, and so I want to state very clearly, these 3-year degrees are not compromised in any way. What we did was we removed electives. Right. We didn't compromise on general education. We didn't compromise on the disciplines. And in fact, for us, we integrate skill development in the general education curriculum as well. So we have what we call college-wide capabilities of the professionalism and technical skills and communication skills and teamwork and leadership and those things that employers really want that they say a lot of their graduates don't have, right? That's all integrated. So, we said, look, if we can't with 90 credits prepare students in a really powerful way to go into the workforce, there's something wrong. There's something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so everybody got on board with this. And so what we also find and have found is that if it works in the Pathway environment for us, it works for our students here. And so we had faith and courage that we could move this forward and do it for campus. And we were ready long before our accreditor was.
Oh, no.
That was
I
one
know
of the
that.
challenges. that
I
we ran
was
into.
off talking. Mine was the Higher Learning Commission at the time,
Yeah.
and they were saying, Vernon, there's a reason that the bachelor's degree is 20 credits, and I said, and that reason is, well, because the bachelor's degree is 120 credits.
Because of a retirement program
exactly.
many years ago, right?
Exactly.
So we were confident that we could move forward. And, kind of from the beginning, now we didn't talk about this openly really, but from the beginning we thought, if we're going to do 90 credit degrees, we're going to do 90 credit degrees.
All right.
We're not going to sort of dip our toe in the water and say, well, we'll keep the 120. So that we have to right now for international students. 90 credit degrees aren't approved yet for international students, but we hope that's coming.
Okay.
But we thought there's if we believe this is the right thing to do, and we did, then part of what a leader has to do in that case is you've got to have courage and you've got to be a little stubborn. And now I would also say that our size made it much easier than if we were a large institution, and our faculty were all supportive of it.
That's an amazing
statement. So we didn't face some of the obstacles and pushback that other institutions have encountered. So that's one of the reasons why we were able to, do it quickly, because we didn't have internal resistance and internal naysayers that we had to deal with. And I for an institution that says no, 90 credits isn't for us, that's their decision to make. I'm not suggesting that everybody should do that. For us, it was the right thing to do. For our students, it was the right thing to do. For our stakeholders, it was the right thing to do. And, just like with 7-week blocks, there's no looking back. This is it. This is how we, this is how we do it here. And it's the same thing with 90 credits.
And even when you made that change, you didn't change the religious studies requirements, right?
No, we didn't.
We're still disciples of Christ.
As a faith-based institution, that's part of your mission,
It's still
right?
14 credits of religion credit. There were some that said, well, gee, if it's 90 credits, should we think about fewer religion credits? And I said, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to take that proposal to the board.
Not your board. No, I don't think they would be
I'm not gonna
looking
do that.
kindly on that,
Yeah.
especially given your mission. I mean, it fits the mission, right?
Yeah. And it won't be an inconvenience for students.
No, actually, it's actually building the reputation, the brand of understanding that a graduate of Ensign College has a moral compass, that they're ethical in their thinking, and that they have a solid base of which to interact and serve others in that part. Now, talk about your accreditor. Now, I had those conversations with my accreditor, and they were still pushing. Finally, we pushed, and it got through.
Yeah.
But after Ensign. But talk about those conversations you had with your accreditor.
Yeah. So, initially our 3-year degrees were considered that they were part of a pilot program.
Right.
And on at least 2 occasions, I had a conversation with our accreditor, pleading our case to say, 1, can't we get these things off pilot status? And 2, can we accelerate the approval for offering these degrees on campus? And it just took some time. It took some time. Timing is everything. It took some time. There was a change in leadership. There was a much more favorable view of moving forward. And with that, we got pretty rapid approval.
Which is great, because, it made the Northwest Commission just really take the leadership of all the traditional regional accreditors.
Yes.
And they were out ahead, and it was, again, from my perspective of looking at it from the East Coast at that time, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
But I knew Ensign. I said, yes, would that be something that they would do? Yes. Would BYU Idaho do that? Yes.
There's a strong commitment on the part of the commission to be innovative and to be forward-thinking. And and I can say that with personal knowledge for 2 reasons. 1, because of our experience in my role as president of Ensign College, and 2, I'm a commissioner.
Oh, that also helps.
Okay.
So, you can have those conversations, which, understanding this, I'm going to go back to something you were talking about. Sometimes folks don't necessarily say, well, students just don't go to college for a job. They go for something else. Do you have a thought about that?
Yeah. So my response, my cynical, maybe a little sarcastic response is, so who says? Who says that's the case? Ask parents, ask students. There was a study by Titan Partners, I think, a few months ago, about what their thinking was about a 3-year degree, and it was overwhelmingly positive in the feeling of, if we can get our students through college in 3 years, we save a year of tuition, they gain a year of earning, they leave school with less debt, and they begin their careers. And if they want to go to graduate school, they can prepare to go to graduate school. These are accredited degrees, and I think particularly with the groundswell of acceptance of these now, I don't think there's going to be problems getting, for students getting jobs and doing the things they want to do. Just last week, I had a conversation with the senior partner of one of the big 4 firms, and I said, "What do you think of our 3-year degrees?" And his response was, "I think it's terrific." And I said, "Would an Ensign College graduate in accounting with a 3-year degree, would that prohibit them from getting hired by your firm?" They said, "Absolutely not." And so, that to me was a tremendous endorsement of what we're doing and what other schools will do if they can move forward. But we were able to do it because of mission fit, and because our faculty saw the benefit of this, because we all get applied education, we all get prepared for work, we all get, who needs 30 credits of stuff that isn't really going to contribute. And as I've talked to people, they've said, yeah, I'm going through the electives that I took, and they're adding up all these electives that were fun, but college should be fun, it should be enjoyable, but people go to school to be prepared for work. And let me also say, with our general education, I think we are giving students an opportunity to explore and to develop character. And we have humanities, we have the sciences, we have, English, of course, and math, and a robust general education curriculum. So is it the same as what they might get at a large R1 institution? No. But it's all integral to what we're trying to do to prepare students.
One of the things I notice is this harmony that exists. What you've done is you've aligned your curriculum, you've aligned your hearts and minds of everyone, and when that comes together, that harmony of, it's not just me, it's not we, it's us, and the us becomes the most important thing.
Yeah.
And you've come to something very special.
Yeah. Well, I talk often borrowing, Mosiah chapter 18, verse 21, hearts knit together in unity and in love. And again, when you have that, when you have a commitment to a mission, it's, we feel like it's this way at other CES institutions too. This is a job. It's not a calling, but it's not a calling, but it's more than a job. I mean, and we feel a deep commitment to these students and a deep commitment to the institution. And, I made the comment not long ago, when I came here 10 years ago, I knew about the college, and now I know the college. And there's a difference. And the quicker that a new employee can come to know this place, the more effective they can be.
And 10 years, the average president is about 4 years. The average presidency is about 4 years.
Yeah.
You've been here associated with the, coming up 9 years, in a month, but, this is a longer term. How has that helped you with your change process and reaching that vision that you saw?
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful for the time that I've had because it's taken longer to get everything done than I thought it was going to take.
It's always that way in higher education.
I mean, I didn't know how long it was going to take exactly, but, I can be a little impatient at times, but maybe patience is one of the things I've learned too, is about timing. And, you set the vision, you make sure that you have the right people in the right places, and you continue to talk about it, and you continue to help people understand why we're doing the things that we're doing. Because we have a rather unique model with the curriculum and just the way things work with Pathway. Because of our relationship with Pathway and with the church, our budget situation is different than what it might be at other places.
Yes.
But and so we're very blessed and very fortunate to have the support of the Board of Trustees that allows us to do the things that we're doing in the way that we're doing them.
Absolutely. Michael, I'm trying to think of...
I think we go to
definitely
future.
need to go to the future, yeah.
Yeah.
Move on to the future.
So you've made huge strides in 10 years. If you look 3 or 5 years out, what do you see coming? What are the challenges and opportunities you have coming?
Yeah, so, our online population is going to just continue to grow. And for us, we can, however big it gets, we're able to.
You can scale up to it.
We can scale up to it. But one of the things that we're very excited about is that we will be launching a vocational education program this summer. We're going to start with training electricians.
Okay.
And we have some space on campus that is being converted now into classroom space. And we're going to start, like I said, training electricians. We see that evolving into heating and air conditioning and maybe some plumbing and eventually a construction management emphasis in our business management degree. where we're training supervisors. We're not training general contractors.
Right.
We're training supervisors on job sites and things like that. And we're really excited about that. The reception to that concept has been so positive because there's a shortage of tradespeople.
Yes.
And for those that are working
Nationally and in Utah.
yes, and planning to retire, the replacement rate is far below what is necessary. So we are certainly hopeful that Ensign College introducing a vocational education program will be very positively received, and we'll have young people say, maybe I don't want to study accounting, but I'll go be this. I'll go be an electrician because I can make a really good living being an electrician. And
In some ways, it's a little more protected from AI to be
Yes.
some of the hands-on and
yes,
some of the
it
trades are.
absolutely is. And and AI is another thing in
Yes.
terms
Yeah.
of the future. We've got to continually make sure that we're relevant and we don't get obsolete and get surprised. And we're doing some things. I'm confident that we're gonna have the right answers for this. But my word,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
the
all
speed-
technology is it's moving so
the
fast,
speed
and it'll
at
reach
which
into
things are
every
moving,
field.
I've never seen anything like it in my
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
life.
it's crazy.
Definitely an acceleration or hastening, whatever we want to
Absolutely.
call it, right?
Yeah.
That's going on right now. One thing I've heard is, and I've actually made this up, was that going into the trades is like what it used to be going to law school. If you go to the trades right now, you actually have more of a future in some ways than you will, because if you're a lawyer, frankly, that you are in danger with AI.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the work.
So there are, there's careers, there's livelihoods that are threatened, certainly. And I think that my feeling about AI is that over time we're going to figure out. It's not going to be, it may not be as destructive to some things as we think, but there will be new opportunities emerge. I mean, I was in Silicon Valley and lived through the introduction of, the World Wide Web and the internet and everybody trying to
Everything
figure
changed.
out, and everything changed. And look at the industries that have been that were spawned by that. And the same thing will happen with AI. I think in some
We're
way,
just so
based
early.
on it's early. we're early stage, but it just sort of exploded.
And if you're out there and you're a little bit worried about AI, would Ensign College be a place you say, I want to go reskill? I want to do that.
Sure.
Would Ensign College be the place
Yeah,
to do that?
we're including that. We're integrating that into our, certainly our computer science stuff. But it's going to be everywhere. It will be
yes.
everywhere in our curriculum because students need to leave knowing how to thrive in an AI world and knowing how to use the tools and so they'll be prepared.
Absolutely.
We've been saying with multiple guests, we've kind of come to a statement around, is AI going to replace your job? It will unless you let it make you better.
Yeah.
You have to grow. You have
Yeah.
to change. You have to be able to
Yeah.
use it.
If you don't stay current
Yeah.
in anything that you're doing,
Yes.
you'll find yourself on the outside looking in. You'll become obsolete, and you'll become obsolete pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. So that's a big challenge over the next few years.
Yes.
Any other big visions you have for what's coming?
You're here
just-
first,
yeah. I mean, nothing in terms of programs and things like that. I mean, we have a new commissioner now, so maybe there'll be
Yes, you have a
some
brand new commissioner.
Elder James Rasband.
Yes.
Will start
Okay.
this as of April 1st, and maybe there's things that get explored that haven't been. I don't know.
No.
What I know is that when we do our part, the Lord does His, and opportunities come that we might not even imagine. Now, people have asked, from time to time, and so there's certainly there's no truth to what I'm going to say, but people say, well, Bruce, will Ensign College ever have athletics? And my response is, look, if BYU can get a medical school, maybe there's hope.
Maybe.
You know,
Maybe, that's right.
but I say that facetiously, tongue in cheek.
Go Lions.
We won't have athletics, but
doing that.
Yeah.
And how much will athletics be relevant for the future?
yeah,
And, you know,
yeah. But here's what I know. I know that we're led by prophets, seers, and revelators. Just yesterday, when Elder Rasband was introduced in board meeting, and you're there, and the first presidency is there, and 3 members of the Quorum of the 12, and the presiding bishop, and the Young Men's General President, the Young Women's General President, the Relief Society General President, member of the presidency of the 70, and a member of the general authority that works in priesthood and family. And you just sit. We don't sit around the table. We sit back. And because we're not voting members of the board.
Right.
Right.
That's how Board of Trustees work.
But we sit back and we watch this, and we observe this, and we receive counsel, and we listen to opinions, and we listen to expressions of support, or expressions sometimes of concern or of encouragement. And it is a unique vantage point to watch prophets be prophets. As proposals come, as they ask questions, no one should have any concern at all that the church is in great hands. It's in wonderful hands, and will continue to be so.
It's so wonderful. And Michael, would you ask
I'll give you the last question.
The
We'll go
final
with the last
question. But before we do that, we want to thank you for taking time to do this and actually sharing these very personal insights about how your job works and where you're going. They talk. If we look in the scriptures, it says, by their fruits ye shall know them. If you look at the innovation that is going on at Ensign College, and we'll say in the educational system at large, these are the fruits that are just completely maturing, and it's evidence that's right before your eyes, and that's what I just want to bring out.
Yeah.
That here's the evidence, here's the fruit right here.
I was just talking with someone just before we began, one of our employees, and the way that I can describe particularly these last 6 years or so, it's been a sacred experience. It's been exhilarating. It's been, but it's been sacred because of what the Lord has wrought here, what He's allowed to happen here, what He's helped us do here. We don't have a lot of excess FTE. Like we have no excess FTE. It's very
always been
lean.
that way.
We're very lean.
Yes.
But what I have observed is that the Lord has magnified our talents. He's magnified our abilities, and it's felt like a loaves and fishes experience, where people have been able to do more. Just like our students realize that they can do more than they ever thought possible, our employees accomplish more than they probably ever thought possible. And one of the other things that I want to pay tribute to, and this is one of the things that has been one of the miracles, frankly, of Ensign College, is that we have nearly 40 senior missionaries serving on our campus. And they come called, they come, some volunteer, and we could not do the work that we do without these senior missionaries. They are success coaches, they are career coaches, they help us in so many ways in career services and with. It's just it's a long list of the contributions of these senior missionaries. And so not only are they contributing, but from a very temporal standpoint, if we had to replace have that many FTE, we couldn't do it. We would never be able to afford or ask the board to to fund, yeah. And so those 40 senior missionaries probably amount to 30 FTE, for example. So, it's pretty easy to do the math.
Oh, yeah.
And to know that it's millions of dollars that they are, their contribution is the equivalent, the economic equivalent. And that's another part of the miracle. I've had senior missionaries approach me and say, we've been thinking about a mission and we'd like to learn about Ensign College. One of our senior missionaries here was someone that I was in the mission field with as a young missionary many years ago in Guatemala. We worked in the mission office together. And one day my wife and I were on our way to devotional. This is when we had him in the assembly hall. And we were walking along right in front of the Family Search Library. And there comes this former missionary friend, and his wife. And he's now serving here as a senior missionary.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't by accident.
No.
Great.
That's not
And we've
coincidence.
had those things time and time again. People just calling and, the Lord working on their hearts and minds to say, how about Ensign College? And so for that, we're very grateful. And it's allowed us to do things that we would have never done otherwise.
Absolutely.
So of all the things we've talked to and we bring it down, I want to ask you one question, and that is, if you could boil it down to one thing, how do you engage more learners more effectively?
How do we engage more learners?
Yeah, more learners more effectively. If you could boil all that down into one big thing.
More learners more effectively.
Yeah.
It's a big question.
We have to help them understand that there is a difference between being a student and a learner.
Yeah.
A student waits to be acted upon. A student goes to class and says, I wonder what the teacher's going to do today, right? And a learner prepares to come to class to say, I can hardly wait to share what I've learned with my peers, with my teacher. And they dig in and they take initiative and they take responsibility for their learning. And to the extent that we can help students do that and have a faculty and a learning environment that fosters that, we'll engage more learners and they'll learn more deeply. We have to help them understand the connection between worthy living and the Holy Ghost and how that can accelerate and deepen and enhance their learning. And that's one of the things we can do here. We are expected to integrate the gospel into everything that we do here. Well, that's if students will open their hearts and embrace that, they'll be more engaged and they'll learn more deeply. And we just want to get better and better and better at that.
It's consecrated work. I love it.
It is.
Love it.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
It's my pleasure.
Engaged by Design.
My pleasure.
That answer, I think, is one of the best ideas I've ever heard for engaging students and moving from the passive state to becoming passive student to an engaged learner. That's wonderful. Thank you again for your time. We look forward to maybe having another conversation in the future, but also to the great things that we're going to see with Ensign College, certainly in its national visibility. I'm sure people are starting to pound on your door asking for things.
Yeah.
And we expect really wonderful things for the future.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure, my honor. You're welcome to come back anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. It costs you nothing and it helps us out a lot. Let's keep the learning going as we engage by design.